This is a work that I've been developing alongside a series of other works that's exploring interface as sort of a literary and artistic element. Um, and all of these works are utilizing, in some way, the technical and creative possibilities, specifically with AI coding. So, how can I use AI agents as a way of assisting me to experiment and to make new works? This work is based on a train interface. So I'll take you through it. This, by the way, is a very much a prototype. It's not a finished work, and it still needs lots of development, including all the text information. All the text bits you see in here are placeholder text, by and large. So the work generates each time a, series of landscapes, and landscapes have a range of things in them. I'll take you to the train stations once we get to the next one. So it has things like farmhouses and birds and deer and cars and different cities. And they look, there's some blimps, which is quite nice. And then the train tracks are basically drawn dynamically each time, so it is different each time, between these different locations, between these towns. And then when you get the train into the town, it stops, and then you get a little story about that specific location. It's kind of infinite almost in terms of how many different train stations you can have, how many different stories you can put into this work, and the kind of elements that move around the landscape. There are lots of strange little technical issues that I need to figure out, some of which have proved useful, and others of which still need addressing. So, for example, you'll notice here on the right is a little bit of text. And those are kind of like historical markers that come up as you travel by train. And they appear throughout the project. And that comes from a totally separate database of different historical markers you can put in there. Currently, they come up kind of randomly in between stations. But, further iterations, I'm sure I could actually specifically place them. Now, one of the interesting things about train interface is that it's not actually highly interactive. I mean, I'm having to press something to get the train to move between stations, but generally trains are constrained to the tracks, and you have a certain, you basically are traveling from station to station along these tracks, and I kind of like it. I kind of like the slowness of it. I kind of like the sense that this is very much a generated landscape. Each time the work is different, but you're also constrained to the tracks themselves, which is really kind of lovely. Other technical fixes, lots of them. You'll notice these little squares. Those are all supposed to be little homesteads or landscapes. You'll see creeks that come up, or rivers that still need a bit of adjustment. You have things like planes and blimps that come up that seem to be arriving at the wrong location. So, there's a range of different technical issues to work through. One of the things I've noticed with AI coding that is kind of interesting is that it's not really great at making a whole work. It seems to get confused. It seems to delete things, change things without asking for it, leaving things off, adding things into it, without me requesting it. And so I find once I make the basic interface, it's actually easier to address things as small components. So, for example, you ask it to, can you make me deer that go around the landscape? And how do I specifically add just that code? And so it's kind of like you're having it help you build small components and then adding those into the work, or making adjustments to individual components and adding those into the work. All of this is built in JavaScript. Everything is code generated in this work. There are no images. And there's one element, which is the train whistle. That is an external file because the computer generated train whistle was quite poor. But everything else is completely code generated. So this is my train interface. I like it. There goes a plane. Looks like a bird, half plane. I like it. Oh, one other element to this that's kind of interesting is the landscape changes as you go through. Whoa, those creeks have gone a bit mad. That's interesting. Why is it doing that? I do not know. But yeah, the landscape is supposed to change as you go through. Whoa. World's strangest creeks and rivers.